I don't think I've ever heard the staff from GN Hearing sound so genuinely excited. So coming next, I'm going to be telling you all about the brand new ReSound ONE hearing aid system, and make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you whether or not this is a genuine game changer from ReSound. Coming next. Hi, my name's Matthew Pearson from Zone 1 Hearing in London, and over the last 15 years I've had the pleasure and privilege of helping thousands of people from all over the world hear better. So if you'd like to learn all about the latest hearing aids, apps, accessories and assistive devices, please like, please share, please comment, subscribe, and make sure you press the notification bell to hear when our latest video is released. Having released to market the ReSound Quattro, I think it was about October 2018, I think ReSound would have been quite within their rights to just develop and release a 2.0 version of this aid, maybe change a couple of colours, firmware update here or there, maybe introduce a couple of new features. But actually they've exceeded expectations. So what we've got is a hearing aid with a brand new form factor, so a new style. There are new receivers or loudspeakers, and actually something unique about them, which I'll move on to shortly. There are new domes and a long-awaited closed dome option from them. New sports locks to give them better retention within the ear. And as well as that, even better battery life, although that was already fantastic. They've also given some extra programs. What else have we got? We've got improved microphone performance and a brand new chip to support all this. So let's look at the design of the aid. The aid has got a flat sort of bottom part to it that sits on the ear, so there is less contact with the ear, so improved comfort. Lower centre of gravity, so the aid sits nice and low with a great microphone position to pick up sound, and also is even more secure on the ear. As well as that, it's flat, so very easy for people to hold, and I think it's probably going to be a rarity, but if somebody does go for the battery version, you don't need a thumbnail to open the battery door. You can simply use the flat part of your thumb to pop the battery door open. So a new and improved design for the actual case of the aid. Next we have the receivers. So the receivers have a new, more ergonomic shape, a better position for the part that goes into the ear canal, so the part containing the speaker. You also have new sports locks, which are the part that give you extra retention within the ear, so they're easier to put on, easier to remove, and that might mean less trips to the office to gain assistance from your hearing care professional. There is also the release of a new receiver type, so it is called a MARIE, a mic and receiver in the ear. I'll go into a little bit more detail shortly, but the idea of that is both the microphone and the speaker are right next to each other in the ear, so it is a more natural position to receive sound. So in addition to the new domes, new receivers and totally new design of the hearing aid, you also now have a choice of two different charging cases. So option one is the traditional charging case that we've known from the Quattro, which contains 3 additional chargers if you're on the go. But you've also now got the choice of a wall mounted, or not wall mounted, one that you plug into the wall. So maybe you'd have that at your bedside table or in your office if you've got an office, and that can remain there. It's slightly smaller, it's a lower cost device, and that doesn't contain any extra chargers, but maybe you'd have that as a second charging device. So, you know, great to have that choice. Now, in terms of the battery life, phenomenal. I do feel most people are going to go for the rechargeable. So the headline figures are that the hearing aids with no streaming could go up to 30 hours on a single charge. Now, get this figure. If you were charging if you were streaming 100% of the time, you can still get 25 hours or up to 25 hours from the hearing aid, say if you had a mild loss. So this is great, because I actually had an email from a patient yesterday. She tried a rival product which is also rechargeable and has a portable charger. The problem was she wears the hearing aids for a really large proportion of the day, and she got to hour 16, the hearing aids conked out. Now, yes, you could put them back in the charger to give some extra wear time, but she wants to be able to hear better all the time. So with the ReSound ONE, unless you're going to stay up sort of more than 25 hours or 30 hours if you're not streaming, should never be an issue. So it gives you a lot of confidence. And like I say, I'm not sure that they're going to sell a lot of the battery versions, but they're there as an option if that's the route you decide to go. And actually, I'm just going to show you the packaging. So the packaging actually looks very nice. If I was being super picky, what I would say is the previous packaging for the Quattro, I really loved how robust that was. So you might say, well, packaging, does it really matter? You're probably going to throw it in the bin. I actually noticed all my Quattro patients kept the packaging because it had that magnetized sort of flap on the front that gave you that satisfying sound as it shut, and it was just very robust. So certainly a nice place to keep any sort of hearing aid paraphernalia. The new one, you've got two little pull-out drawer sections, so looks great in terms of the color, and certainly I think people will keep this, but it's not quite as sturdy. That's how I would say it, but it's not a big thing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move on to is the Marie receiver. So this is big. So this is classified as the first fully featured hearing aid system with a mic and a receiver in the ear canal. So the reason that this is a big development is from 2003, when ReSound launched the Contact Air hearing aid. That really changed things. I noticed that the age of my patients coming in were younger. They were really happy about the hidden cosmetics of the aid, the naturalness of the sound, and it was a real game-changing device. However, having the mics at the top of the ear is an unnatural position. Let's look at the design of the ear, designed to funnel in sound from the front and reject it from the rear. And also, ears are sort of like a fingerprint. They're unique to each individual. So, the things that affect how I hear, my head, my torso, my ears, are going to be different from yours. So what happens is if you put a hearing aid behind the ear, you actually get rid of that, what we call pinner effect. This can affect things such as localization, meaning knowing where a sound is coming from. And if you're hearing impaired, it might be important for you to know where that sound's coming from so you can react appropriately to it. Now, on premium hearing devices, there are sort of pinner compensation algorithms built in, but the results from these can be highly variable. Studies that ReSound have done have shown that obviously our own natural hearing, if we're normally hearing, gives us the best ability to localize a sound source. However, the next best was the Marie receiver, the mic and receiver in the ear, because of its normal position. You're hearing with your natural ear. The next best was the pinner compensation, where an algorithm based on an average ear tries to compensate for the design of the ear, but again, results vary because who has an average ear? And the final one was the omnidirectional response. That was the one where people were least able to pinpoint where a sound came from. Now, incidentally, we talked about how there was the ReSound Air device that came in 2003. Now, about 20% of people at that time were wearing behind the ear hearing aids, and most wearing in the ear. Now, that shot right up to about 80%. So last year, almost 80% of people in America were wearing the hearing aids behind the ear. So if the mic is not in this normal, or the position it ideally should be, what do we do to compensate? And that's where Marie comes in. Now, the reason these styles are so popular is they're robust, they're easy to fit, they fit a whole range of losses. The receivers or loudspeakers can be changed easily, sometimes by the patient, but certainly by an audiology clinic different strengths of speaker can be changed to if the hearing of the patient changes, and the vast majority of these devices are Bluetooth equipped, and increasingly they are rechargeable. So you've got all the latest functionality by having the aid here, but now you can have the best position for hearing sound in its rightful position with the Marie receiver. Now, the Marie receiver isn't going to fit every single kind of loss. It's more designed for mild to moderate hearing losses. So I can show a fitting range on the screen there, and you will need some reasonable high frequency hearing to give you those spatial cues back. But I'm really excited to be able to fit these to my patients, and I'm just really looking forward to getting some positive feedback from them. So 10 years in the making, the Marie receiver was combined with a brand new chip and a brand new feedback management system. So you've now got improved processing speed and processing power, and an even more efficient power delivery. So you've got that superior or reduced battery drain. Okay, so the next feature is the all access directionality. So if you were to simply put these hearing aids in the all-around program, so your automatic program, they will automatically adapt and adjust to your surroundings. So let's say I'm in a quiet environment, the Marie receiver option is going to be activated, so I'm going to hear as naturally as possible. So better sound quality, better ability to localize the source of a sound. So if somebody's coming up behind me, I'll know where they are to move over to allow them to pass. And I'll be able to place everything where it should be within the soundscape. Now, should I go into a more complex listening environment, the hearing aids have got the ability to become more directional, but to allow me to also be aware of my surroundings. Now, sound is often not just as simple as front, back or side in terms of where the sounds are coming from. So let's say I'm in a group of people and we're all talking, but there is actually more noise to the left hand side of me. So say there's some construction work going on. What would happen is, even though both microphones can become more directional, because there's more noise here, to improve the signal to noise ratio, so the signal, i.e. what I want to hear, this side will be more relied on because there is less noise to allow me to hear better. Now, you literally don't need to do anything for this to happen, you just need to have the hearing aids on. Now, if there is a scenario where you do need a very directional beam and you're literally just trying to focus on one person in a more complex environment, so let's give you a couple of examples. You might be trying to listen to somebody as they check you in as you're going onto an airplane. You're maybe grabbing a coffee in a busy cafe or deli. So those kind of complex listening environments, you can have a program called Ultra Focus, which you can select from your app or by tapping the button, and the button's much easier to sort of locate now. It's a raised position, so much more tactile. By pressing that, you go into this very narrow beam, and because of this, you will have up to a 30% better ability to hear that individual. Now, this is user selected because ReSound believes, in line with their organic hearing philosophy, that your brain should have access to the sounds around you and decide what to hear. But in those few instances, it's great to have that ability to pinpoint that sound more accurately and sort of cut off those surrounding sounds that may distract you. So a whole suite of features. So like I say, we've got new improved design of hearing aid, better receivers. We've got the Marie receiver, which gives you better localization and a more natural hearing experience. What it also does is gives you better performance in noise. So imagine you're playing golf and you're trying to speak to your colleagues or friends you're playing golf with. This can reduce the wind noise, but just because of the natural mic position, by up to 15 decibels, which is very significant. And in terms of other features, we've got this great new charger option if you needed an extra charger or simply felt you didn't want to carry the charger with you. We've got some great new colours, easier to put on sports locks and remove sports locks, a great new range of domes, which is not to be underestimated. Having closed domes as an option, sometimes you want that really open airy fitting, but sometimes you do need to lock a bit more sound in, and simply the tulip domes didn't fit everybody. So having 3 different sizes of closed domes has opened this aid up to a lot more patients potentially. So I'm sure you'll agree, a whole range of features, a more easy to use aid, an aid which will put sounds accurately where they should be, give you great noise reduction, give you more natural hearing, and this sort of confidence that once you've charged your hearing aids, you're going to get through the whole day, no question. Finally, 2 more additional features worth mentioning. There are an abundance of wireless accessories, one of which is the TV streamer. So the TV streamer allows you to hear sound coming from the TV directly into the hearing aids. One of my ReSound patients described it as if she was going to the cinema every time she switches on a TV now. So a great addition as an accessory. You can also have what they call a multi-mic. Now, one slight criticism of the aid is you don't get the telecoil option, so enabling you to use the loop system within the aid, but by using this fantastic accessory, what you're able to do is press the button at the back. So if you go into a theatre, a cinema, a bank, post office, church, etc., wherever you see the sign of the ear indicating there's a loop system there, you can switch into this and have the person sound as if they're speaking straight into your ears. Also, the multi-mic will allow you to give that to a conversation partner, and if you're in a sort of very complex environment, their voice is only going to travel a very short distance and then is sent straight into your hearing aids. It can also be used as a table mic if there are a group of you talking, or say for example if you're in a car and then that person's voice, again in that complex environment, can be beamed straight into the hearing aids. Now, in terms of another assistive device, if you like, is the smartphone app. The smartphone app is definitely a firm favourite within the hearing aid industry. It's very visual. If you do have any additional programs like the Ultra Focus, you can see straight away when you've switched into that. You can see when to switch into your TV stream or remote mic if you've got those optional extras, and you can even create your own programs. So I mean, I've done that on the app. You can probably see them on the screen. So just an abundance of features. If you want them to be super simple, plug in and forget about, you can do that. If you're someone who likes to experiment and tweak, adjust the frequency response, if you want to save favorites, rename programs, you can do that as well. So I think this is going to appeal right across the board, from say teenagers right up to, I've got patients over 100 who use ReSound. So like I say, very excited about them, really looking forward to getting my hands on them. So the whole question of, is this a game changer? Well, the way I look at the whole Marie microphone system, and I'm very excited about the other features as well, is that we're very much as an industry moving towards giving people a very personal and individualized fit. Now, to do this, we use a real ear measurement. So it's their real ear. So what we do is, instead of fitting it to an average ear, to a mannequin, and hoping they're somewhere close to that, by doing a real ear measurement, it takes into account the shape and size of their ear, so they get the right amount of sound all across the frequency range to hear as clearly as possible. Now, with the Marie mic, instead of giving a generic fit to where sound should sound as if they're coming from, we're giving it to them through their own ears. So people are hearing through their own unique hearing system. So what we're doing is further personalizing the sound for them. So I do think this is going to be a game changer. I mean, let's think about ReSound. The contact air, that ushered in this whole sort of range of receiver in the canal aids that you now see. So that inspired those. It brought in people to look at hearing losses at an earlier stage, who were younger. It changed the cosmetics of the hearing aids in the industry. Also, the programmer that we all use, it's greatly reduced the amount of wires and cables we carry around. That was a ReSound development. And also how digital hearing aids sound in general. Wide dynamic range compression is a ReSound invention used in all hearing aids. So it is designed to mimic the performance of the cochlea, the inner ear. And I think there was another one I was going to mention. Yeah, made for iPhone. These are a made for iPhone device, and also they're made for Android. I've had them connected to both my devices and they've worked seamlessly. And if you look at the industry now, after initially sort of being seen as very niche and, who really wants that facility, I can't think of a single manufacturer who in some way or another doesn't connect their hearing aids to an iPhone. So certainly based on what ReSound have done historically, when they do something, they go large. They swing for the fences. Now, occasionally they miss, but generally the developments they come with are industry-changing developments. So I think this could be, in a few years, something we look back on and say, wow, okay, that's where it really all started. The first fully featured aid with that natural mic position. So yeah, let's see what happens. It'd be great to hear your comments, your thoughts. If you've been fitted with these, which obviously will be happening in the next few days, weeks and months, please, put down what your thoughts are on them, and we'll look forward to speaking with you soon. So this is Matthew from Zone One Hearing. We'd love you to like, share, comment, subscribe. Please press the bell for notifications and have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you very much.